We're going to be talking about the 7 phases to shifting your frequency that you will go through as you are shifting your frequency that leads to manifesting anything you want. And we're going to reveal where most people are getting manifestation completely wrong and why it doesn't work for so many people, which gives it a bad rap because it's a real thing. It actually really works for no matter what it is that you want, whether it's big or it's small, it does not matter. It works. It is real. It is like universal law. The thing that I want to say, and that's going to be a little bit more real today, is we're going to go into the underbelly of manifestation, where it's not unicorns and rainbows, and why that underbelly exists, and why it is actually the portal to everything that you want. And it's where most people bail on the process, and how once you know this, you will not be bailing on the process anymore, and you can truly align your energy to receive the desires that you have on your heart. That's what today is about. So let's talk about these phases. The first phase, we've talked about many times. The first phase is to really clarify your desire. And when I say clarify, it means take a hard, honest look at it. This is the first place that most people introduce distortions in the manifestation process, it's manifestation science. It's that specific. It's like that. If you do A, B, C, D, E, D, F will happen. We do know our alphabet. And so the very first distortion that a lot of people have is they're looking at their desires, but those desires might have little hints of lack or not enoughness. I was just having a conversation with a client this morning. I had a hit. She's been on this, we've been coaching together for a number of months now. And all of a sudden it hit me that the inception of everything she's wanting is diluted because underneath it is this desire to prove that she can do it. So there's like already inherently in the desire, the belief that she can't. So then what is she going to be manifesting? She's going to be manifesting the frequency under the frequency, not the things that she says she wants, but the things that her energy is saying she wants, which is, I'm not enough and I need to prove myself. So when you think about any and all goals that you have for your business, and I love talking obviously about business and money because it's so tangible. It's so tangible when we think about how many clients we'd like to be serving or how much revenue we'd like to be generating. And so as you think about that, as you think about your big goals, maybe it's writing a book, speaking on big stages, being recognized as an authority, whatever it is, whatever that desire is. If there's any hints of your own insecurity, inner critics, not enoughness, you've already created an entire basically what's happened is now the only thing that can actually create that manifestation is your hard effort to make it happen, because you've already pretty much blocked the universe out from coming to back you on this desire, to meet you at the desire, because it's completely out of alignment with how the universe, God, source, sees you as an infinite, perfect, already complete, already whole human. Manifestation gets a bad rap because inherently, when we decide we want to manifest something or we want to achieve something, it is filled with attachment, and it's filled with fear, and it's filled with judgment. Judgment, that experience is better than this experience that I'm in right now. And attachment, fear, and judgment instantaneously create a massive separation between you and the forces, the unseen forces that want to come in and support you and guide you and lead you to the desire that you have on your heart. And so that's where there's a disconnect right out of the gate. And so how do we get to a very clean and clear desire? This is going to sound familiar to many of you who are IPEC coaches. The first step to getting to that very clear desire is to get to the essence of it. And we get to the essence of it is by thinking about what is the goal that you have? What is the vision you have? What are you trying to manifest? Whether it's, again, clients or a certain amount of revenue or any of it, speaking on big stages, writing a book, any of it, like whatever it is. And then if you project yourself into that state of being, what is the feeling that you're having? So we're getting to the essence by getting to the If this happens, then I'll feel this way. And that feeling, which usually are things like peace, fulfillment, joy, bliss, excitement, powerful, that's the essence of the desire. That's a very clear and clean place to have a desire from. And so a lot of times we get ahead of ourselves and we think that the desire is that tangible thing, which we know is one of the strategies that we've identified to have the essence of the desire manifest. So the first step that starts to loosen the attachment is to be able to say, this is the experience that I want to be having. This is what feels expansive in my system, in my mind, in my energy field. And that is the core of the desire. We want to lock that in first and foremost. Now, as you lock that in, you're going to start getting visions of multiple strategies that could ultimately lead to that coming to fruition. And so now you're starting to get more visions. It's like, where's the money going to land? Why are we wanting clients? Like, truly, genuinely, why are we wanting clients? And this is where you also have to give yourself some permission to be really selfish. And it's not selfish at all, because honestly, when we're into the truest heart's desires, we are actually already fully aligned with the entire cosmos of orchestration. Basically, what I'm saying is you can trust your desires. You can trust that whatever desires, true desires that aren't coming from ego or lack or not enoughness or fear or judgment or attachment, that you can trust those. They are already inherently for the good of all, because they're putting you in a frequency that is rippling out across the collective, that is in an unseen way shifting consciousness. And so that's why, like, desire and giving yourself permission to fully imagine and see what that essence then could start taking form as, that is now where the vision starts forming itself. And then we apply the logic of how much revenue might it take to be living my version of a heaven on earth, to be living the fullest expression of joy, happiness, freedom, power, potential, whatever it may be. Now we start to create that vision, and then we money map it, and then we determine the amount of revenue that is the next goal, the next direction that we want to be manifesting in, especially in business. So it's a three-part creation around desire. Okay, so let's go into phase two. Step two is, once that essence is locked in and the vision is starting to formulate around it, and like your heaven on earth vision, and that's every single area of life and business and all of that, and even starting to make it even more tangible, like something that is measurable, right? So we're almost like going into the SMART goal, and what's measurable is maybe a certain number, again, 100% within your control ideally, eventually. But for starters, it can be the things out of your control, like clients and revenue, and then the steps that you're committed to putting into action to get there. Like, all of the human stuff still comes into play, which actually is more about phase three. But phase two is about declaring it as done. This is where you are putting a stake in the ground and saying, it is so. It is done. And the belief that really anchors this for me is really, truly the belief that I know, like I know, that if it's truly coming from my heart, it's already in my destiny. It's already meant for me. The universe and God are not cruel. You're not going to get a desire that's been embedded into your heart and soul that now you've done the work to mine and tap into, and then have the universe say, ha ha, joke's on you, not going to happen, never going to happen. No. So it's just this strong belief that if I've done my part to really unearth the truth of my desire from the part of me that is already knows, the highest conscious part of me, if I've unearthed that, it is inevitable. It absolutely is inevitable. So it is done. It is complete. And it's really that just sacred yes. That's like, yes, it is. And it's a stake in the ground that is full of belief and trust and knowing. Now, that doesn't mean this belief, trust, and knowing is going to stick, but you're going to make the commitment to believing it and knowing it. It is a devotion to the desire and a detachment. It's saying, I don't know if it's going to happen this year. I don't know if it's going to happen in 2 weeks. I don't know if it's going to happen until the end of my lifetime, but by golly, this thing is done. And so it's a surrendering of the timeline. And at this age, surrendering of the how. It's just a commitment. It's just a fierce commitment to believing and trusting and surrendering the rest. And this is where most people go into push, force, make it happen, impatience, not fast enough, not seeing the signs, blah, 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 which is immediately the thing that says, I'm saying I trust it and believe it, but actually I don't. So I'm going to take it into my own hands now, but thanks for playing, universe, right? And so that's another place that just closes the manifestation portal. It's like, all right, you're on your own. No trust, no belief, no faith. Then, yeah, you go ahead. You do you. And the universe is just sitting back with non-judging, loving, and amused eyes saying, funny people. I'm right here. I could do this with one flip of a switch, but hey, you go ahead. You go work your ass off, right? And yes, so that's the next thing. Phase 2 is declare it as done. This is applying certainty without grasping. So if it is done, if it is truly done in your field, there's no attachment. Because it's done. There's nothing to be attached to. I always use the example of if you think about other things in your life that have already come into being. So I think about my partner, my marriage, my husband. I'm not thinking every single morning, oh, I can't wait to find the love of my life. Gosh, I wonder if I'm going to find the love of my life. It's done. Like it's done. It's here now. It's complete. It's done. So you can see there's no mental chatter about it. When it's done and it's complete, there's no wondering and planning and strategizing and thinking about it. It's just complete. And so if you think about other things in your life that have already manifested, you don't think about them anymore. And when you can turn that off for this, you're starting to move very quickly, collapsing timelines and starting to move very quickly into the synchronistic flow that brings this manifestation to fruition. But you're going to wobble. We all do. And we're going to talk more about that. Okay, phase 3 is embody that future identity now. So what we're really talking about here is shifting your identity from your identity, your frequency is what's creating your identity, but we're shifting your identity of who you are now, because everything that you have in your life right now is because of that. It's a perfect match to your current frequency, the current way that you view yourself and how you are moving through your world, how you are being and what you are doing. And so if you look around, everything that you have or do not have is a perfect match to the level of consciousness and energy that you are currently operating from. So now in order for us to create a new reality, we're going to have to create a new frequency, a new vibe, a new level of energy, a new level of consciousness to be operating from to create something that we've never seen before. And so to think that we're going to be able to keep operating in our current operating system of energy and manifest things that have never come into our life before, it cannot work that way. So things manifest when we come into energetic alignment with the thing that we're wanting to manifest. And the only reason it's not here right now is because you're out of energetic alignment with that desire. And that's for absolutely everybody. So that's why some people are manifesting and some people aren't. You might be doing the exact same thing as somebody else, but it's like still not happening. It's all coming down to distortions in the energy field and where is it misaligned from the desire. And so we're starting to embody the frequency and the energy, which means the mindset, the actions, the emotions, the everything of who we are and what we are doing as if we already are where and operating from somebody who's received the manifestation. And so you are to be him or her now. Do the things that version of what you would do. And you might not fully know. You might want to start surrounding yourself around other people. You might be coming here because maybe you want to have a multiple six-figure business. And so by being in my energy, you're learning new ways that you could see the world if they felt aligned for you. And that's a way that a multiple six-figure coach sees the world and how she moves through her business and how she operates and what she does and how she shows up, right? So there's some entrainment that can happen even here. If that could be a thing that you're tuned into. You're not here to learn from a place of lack. You're here to entrain to an energy that might be a reality that you want to create for your life. And so surround yourself with people so you're picking up on how people move and think and do things. And so you're putting yourself in rooms that are operating at a frequency that's already manifested something that you're desiring. And so infuse the current reality with the intention that everything that you want is already yours. So here's what's really cool about this acting as if phase that we hear about in manifestation is most people try to act as if, for example, act as if in the most challenging 1% part of the manifestation. Here's what I mean by that. We'll use money because it's super concrete. Let's say you want to have a $250,000 a year business and you want to act as if. And what you do is you check your bank account every single day and you're like, there's 250,000 in there. There's 250,000 in there. And you're trying to muster up this belief when you're looking at your bank account, but everything that's looking back at you is like, bullshit. No, there's not. Far away. Not quite. You got a long ways to go. Are you ever going to fucking get here? And so you can see like, why are we going there when you've got 99% of your life that will probably not change even once your goal manifests? Go to your day-to-day things. So a lot of times while I'm hiking, I'm walking as her, the future version of myself. I'm listening to the things my future version self would be listening to. I'm not listening to things that my current self is interested in. I'm stretching into other things. I'm choosing to listen to classical music instead of this music that I've always listened to. I'm breaking routine. I'm choosing to take a different path. I'm choosing to do the upsell. I'm choosing differently in the most simplistic ways as I'm moving through my life. I'm choosing to buy water that is from Mount Shasta, that is the purest, most high vibe water I can find on the earth. I'm choosing this again. I'm in my own identity transformation right now. So that's why this is so top of mind for me, because I'm walking and living and breathing the exact thing that I'm teaching to all of you right now. I'm going to an event in 3 weeks that is only for 7 to 9 figure entrepreneurs, but I knew I was supposed to be in that room. And so I reached out and I'm in the room. And so it's like, I'm going to be surrounded by this next level that I want to play at based on the vision that I've created for myself and the level of audience that I want to serve, which requires me to up level. And what you're seeing behind me, I'm going pro. I'm going to have I have a whole office shed here. It's going to be a recording studio. I'm going to be using my voice. I'm going to be speaking. I'm going to be doing things. And I want to go pro. And somebody who is operating at this level goes pro. So it's not from a place of, oh, what I have is crappy. It's from a place of, I'm no longer willing to settle for the version of me that is comfortable, that's good enough. I'm up leveling. I want to step into more of what is possible as I embody this next version of myself. And every single step you take, no matter how small or how big, is solidifying that belief and that knowing and that faith that it is done, because it is already done in a lot of ways. So even when it comes to, let's say you envision being fully supported so you can operate in your zone of genius 90% of the time and delegate the rest out in your business. You can now, instead of doing the things you always do, you can start creating SOPs around what you're doing. And the whole intention now is, oh, I'm so excited to hand this off to my chief operations person, whatever it may be, right? So now it's not just doing it because you have to do it and you don't have any support. This is awesome. I'm in full preparation. Clarity is kindness. I can be crystal clear about exactly what level of excellence I want my operations person to be operating from, right? And so my computer is deciding now is the time to run its tests. So again, there's infinite ways for you to step into this phase 3 of embodying your future self now. Same thing. Yeah, that's how are you supported? How are you being nourished? And then how are you, even though you're not there yet, repurposing your intention around everything you're doing as if you are there already. Okay, so I went through the 3 phases: clean, clear, heart's desire, declaring it is so, acting as if in all the little ways and big ways that you can, which always means your vision is always greater than your resources. It's going to feel like a stretch. It's going to feel uncomfortable. It's going to feel scary. The highest levels of consciousness, especially level 5, we see the big picture so clearly that it's like, of course I'm going to invest. Maybe it feels like a little bit of a stretch right now financially, or maybe I gotta, okay, so I'll just use this as an example. This is just how I've always operated in my business. It's why I believe that, and how I've always operated, because I've done the work to experience the level 5 and 6 energy for the majority of my business. And every up level requires me to do it again and again to reaffirm level 5 and level 6 energy. Because level 5 and 6 energy when I first started my business is very different than level 5 and 6 energy today. So what I mean by that is what was level 5 and 6 became level 3 because it became comfortable. Like it became very comfortable to have overhead of a certain amount, or it became like, so it's always stretching into back into level 5 and level 6. And so if it's choosing comfort over the future, then we're just going to perpetuate the current reality. So I'm somebody, I cashed in my pension, but again, why? Because I believed in my vision and I knew no matter what, it was going to happen. So for example, if I, at the very beginning of my business, I knew I would be a consistent 6-figure entrepreneur. And I didn't know when it would happen and I didn't know how long it would take, but I knew once I cracked the code that I would never not be a 6-figure entrepreneur. Now I've been in business for 15 years. If I only stayed at 6 figures for 15 years, I still would have already generated $1.5 million, and I cashed in my pension, which was $70,000. Was that a $70,000 investment that at the time I was like, this is really fucking scary. This is my only livelihood left. I already quit my job. Like, it was like way out of my comfort zone. I'm breaking all the rules that I was taught about having a safety net and preparing for retirement and compounding interest. And wow, you're cashing this in right when you have 2 brand new babies at home and you have no future ahead of you and you don't know how long it's going to take to get this business off the ground. That's an example of I had enough belief and knowing. I was able to shift my energy into enough belief and knowing that choice to cash in my pension was like more than anything. It wasn't even because of the mentors I hired. It was my declaration to the universe, like, I fucking believe in this. And I know it. I know it is happening for me, because if it has happened for anybody else, it can happen for me. I can figure it out. There was a level of confidence that made a confidence and a knowing and a belief, which are all level 5 energy, that set me up to spend in very uncomfortable ways. And then fast forward, moving into a multiple 6-figure business, I took on well over $100,000 in credit card debt because I was choosing to invest in the softwares that multiple 6-figure entrepreneurs are investing in. So I wasn't cutting corners. I wasn't doing I'm going to get passionate about this because honestly, it's where people stick themselves. They stick themselves because they want the vision, but they're too fucking scared to go for it. And it breaks my heart because it's right here for you. You've got all these rules about safety and security. And it's like level 5 is, I'll freaking figure it out. I'll figure it out. If I need to go work at McDonald's, I'm going to go work at McDonald's. Like, I don't care. But the only thing I cannot do is go for this with all my heart and all my soul and all my commitment and all of my belief and trust in what I want and that I am worthy of it. It makes me emotional thinking about this. You are worthy of it. You've been given this desire. You can trust it. And so again, now it's $100,000 in credit card debt. That was the next level. And it's like, now I'm building out an entire studio. So I'm going into more investments and wanting to do it. There's so many corners I could cut. Oh, that's not really necessary. I'll get that later. Oh, once this happens, then it makes sense for me to buy that camera or that thing or whatever. No, what is the future version doing? And again, I just have so much admiration. It's my favorite thing about sales and making offers is the minute somebody says yes, they just said yes to themselves in the biggest way that they've ever said yes to themselves. They've already set themselves up for inevitable success. I could literally, every single client that hires me, I could just sit here and do nothing. But because they said yes to themselves and they believed that fully in their vision and their dream, it's already in the works. It's already happening. My whole job now is just to keep reminding them of that, because they already had enough faith and belief in themselves. So those are some examples of, now, I didn't buy my dream car until it was really clean. I was acting as if driving around a rusted old minivan to networking events when I first started my business. So it wasn't like that would have been for me if I would have bought my dream car at that point. It would have been I'm trying to prove it to everybody that I'm further along than I am. So it's like having that discernment of when you're going to make an investment that is like saying yes to you and the value that you know you have and the yes to your vision. And when the investment is saying yes, because I'm trying to show people I'm further along than I am. And then if they can see me driving this really fancy car, then they'll believe me and then they'll hire me. That would be like, oh, that would be like that, like I always say there's shadow debt and there's debt that must create an ROI. So shadow debt is anything that we are investing money into from a place of lack or proving or performance or whatever it may be. That debt is freaking hard to get rid of. Like it is hard to move out of that kind of debt. This debt or this pension or whatever it is over here, when it's made in alignment with the process of manifestation, it must come back tenfold, hundredfold for the life of your business. I think so often, I'm on a tangent now. I think so often about where I would be if I didn't cash in my pension, if I was too scared. It almost makes me cry. I know where I'd be. I would have, for the last 15 years, not fulfilled the deepest purpose that I had on my heart. And the whole reason I went into business, the whole reason I went into business was because I wanted to be a mother. Ugh, who didn't tell her kids that they could do, be, and have everything in this life and then go sit behind a fucking desk and not show them. That was it. That's why I'm in business. That is my biggest why. Is like, so $100,000 pension to not show them, to not be the role model, the one, two with their dad, the two role models in their life that they are soaking up everything from. No, I don't want to play like that. And it's okay if other people do, but we have to be honest with ourselves. That's fine. Level 3 is really comfortable. It's really safe. And it will not bring your biggest vision to fruition. Whew. Okay. Sorry. Thank you. That was for me. I'm in the middle of my own massive shed right now. A release of an old version of myself, which we're going to be talking about in this next thing. So that was for me. Thank you. Thank you for bringing that forward, because that was another opportunity for me to walk the talk of what I'm showing you guys and telling you guys of decreeing that it is, and there is no turning back. Okay, so phase 4. This is what we're talking about. Phase 4 is where you enter into the refinement portal. So we've already talked about creating something you've never created before requires a shedding and a release of the old version of you. This is very uncomfortable. It's very painful. It's very hard. It's supposed to be, because it is the death, the literal death of an identity that you've been operating from for some time in order to create space for the new version of you. We don't get to pile on the new version on top of all the old versions. And you've been through this multiple times. You've had to release a lot, shed a lot of beliefs, of people a lot of times, of systems that have always worked, of even businesses that are super successful. You have to let them go if they're no longer in alignment with this future version of yourself that you're in step 3 embodying. And that means there's grief. This is the void. This is the dark night of the soul. This is death. It feels like death. It leaves you in wobbly, uncertain areas because you don't know what's going to stay and what's going to go. You don't know what's going to happen to some of your closest, most beautiful relationships. You can't. And it's the portal of refinement is pulling you into the dark. And this is where most people think manifestation isn't working, because they think it's supposed to just feel good. They think it's supposed to be all unicorns and rainbows. They think that it's how you feel that creates the manifestation. Oh my gosh, am I having negative emotions? I'm going to start attracting negative things into my life. That's not working. Let me shift into something positive and just shove and suppress all of these shadows that are being drummed up as you're stretching into a new version of yourself, as you're taking new risks, as you're operating in new ways. That's got you shaking in your boots. The goal was never to be fearless. It was to not be afraid of the fear. The goal was never to be perfect. It was to accept that you're imperfect. And every time that it gets uncomfortable, we want to go back to where it's comfortable and it's safe. It gets too hot. This is where things will fall apart. Contrast will show up. It's going to feel like you're going backwards because you are to slingshot forward. Shit's gonna hit the fan. The rug's gonna be pulled out from underneath you. It's what the alchemist refers to as the victor's test. And what we do in this moment determines everything about what is created next in our lives and in our businesses. And so that leads to step 5, which is you gotta stay in the fire. You gotta stay in the fire. Stay in the heat. Stay in the melancholy. Stay in the void. Accept it. Allow it. Surrender to it. Don't judge it. People don't talk about this part of manifestation because it's not sexy. But the reality is there is no manifestation without it. There is no easier path. The easier path is when you understand that this is the path and you have acceptance around all the contrast and you simultaneously feel you're the experiencer and the observer at the same time. You simultaneously feel the fear, the doubt, the insecurity, the imposter, the inner critic, and also experience the excitement and the knowing, holy shit, it's happening. I'm shedding, it's happening. I'm making room. Things are organizing all around me. This is when boatloads of clients leave out of the blue, unexpected expenses pop up. You get creative blocks. You can't even think of anything to write. You don't feel like showing up anymore. You feel annoyed with clients sometimes. Everything just starts to get all tight and ramped up in very constricting ways. This is the analogy of the refinement portal, is the analogy of the butterfly that needs to struggle its way out of the cocoon to build the strength of its wings to be able to fly. There is no way around it. And the faster and harder you surrender into it and allow the flow of your energy and not resist it, the faster you get to the other side. The faster you get to, and again, not because it's a race, but because pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. We create our own suffering by not accepting this resistance, by not accepting this contraction, by not accepting this contrast, by judging it, by being afraid of it, and by attaching to the vision without accepting what it's going to take to receive the vision. Contrast is a sign that everything is working for you, that everything is changing, that you are in the middle of creating a new reality. I'm in this phase right now, the victor's test. And what it feels like, and Ashley has been with me on this path for a very long time, what it feels like is one day she'll get a call from me that says, I'm in the void. I'm not doing anything. I'm not making any movements. I'm not making any decisions. I just need to be today. I don't have any work for you. We need to stop. And I'm like, it might be a day, it might be all week. Actually, this week, last week I told her, I said, I'm taking this whole week off. I'm showing up for my clients and that's it. I don't have the capacity for anything else. It's all got to stop. And then one day I took the whole day off, and the next day I was like, I have an idea. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. We're gonna do this. Oh, like the energy came flooding back in. But I was prepared for it to be as long as it needed to be. And that meant naps. That meant crying. That meant real releases. That meant anger. Oh my gosh, so much anger, uncomfortable anger releases. I don't know I don't know where the anger came from. Nothing happened that made me feel angry. I just felt it and I let myself feel it. I let myself unleash anger and let it move through me. This is where anything and everything that you've been suppressing or projecting or deflecting is going to bubble up, because it's exactly those unconscious things that are keeping you out of alignment with your desire. And when you allow them to bubble up and you allow them to exhaust themselves and you allow them to just be from a place of unconditional love and acceptance, non-judgment, your field and frequency is shifting in that moment and coming into alignment with your desires. There's no other way around it. We can't rationalize it away. We can't acknowledge it away. We can't validate it away. It's just got to be allowed. I remember one time a number of years ago when I was in this part of the manifestation process, we're driving to Christmas and I'm just bawling. And my husband is like, what is wrong? And I'm like, I don't know. I said, I just need to crawl in a hole and be left alone, like maybe forever, like extreme level one. And he just let me, even though it didn't make sense. Okay. Phase 6, reach energetic neutrality. So this is what happens when we stay in the refinement process. Again, when we've done all the steps before and you are acting as if you've put the stake in the ground, you've had the emphatic belief, knowing, and trust behind it, you've went through the refinement process, you come out the other side and you take another look at your goal, your vision, your desire, and you look at it and it's, okay. There's no emotion to it. It's completely neutral. It's no longer a big deal. It no longer feels like it's forever away. It just feels, yeah, it really is, like it's done. And that's when it becomes real. And so this is the tipping point. This is the tipping point for manifestation, is the desire starts to feel like you just took out the mail. And then actually when it manifests, it feels the exact same way. It feels, okay. My favorite representation of this neutrality energy is an SNL skit with Pete Davidson where he's Chad, where no matter what happens, he's like, okay. It could be the worst things, it could be the best things. It's just complete neutrality. It's not apathy. It's reconciliation. It's neutrality. It's not good. It's not bad. It's complete. You hit the energetic of complete non-judgment, no hierarchy. It just is. And it doesn't have any more charge. It doesn't have any more significance. All of our suffering comes from making things such a big deal, making things important, making things matter. And so when you get to this phase, it just feels natural. It feels, again, as natural as brushing your teeth. You don't even need to think about it. You just do it and you don't think anything of it. And now all of a sudden your 6-figure, multiple 6-figure, 7-figure, 8-figure, 9-figure, whatever, just was like, okay. Like it just is. So that neutrality is the realization that the goal actually isn't the goal. The goal is to become the person with whom that goal feels normal, feels natural. And then it's right on the brink of coming to fruition. And then phase 7 is just receive it. Receive it. And again, even though it feels neutral, you can relish in it. You can relish in the process. It feels neutral because, again, that's when you know your energy is aligned with the desire. As soon as your energy is one with the desire, it just feels like you. It just feels like who you are, right? And so then when you fully receive it, a lot of times, like, I didn't even know I manifested the things that were on my list, which is why it's so cool to keep a journal or a manifestation journal or whatever. Like I do future self visioning. And so I'd go back to my old journals. And I remember when I was journaling that vision, feeling, oh my gosh, this is so big. This is so huge. And then I went back 2 years later and I reread my journal from that 2 years prior. And everything was my life and I didn't even know it. So that's when I say it feels neutral. It's just it's like almost you can't connect the dots until you look backwards. You're like, oh my gosh. I remember when I wrote that, I thought it was like totally audacious. And now I'm literally living this. And I didn't even really know it manifested. I didn't even know it manifested because I became one with the desire. And then so it just came like the wind comes. Oh, there's a breeze over there. You don't notice it. You're just out for a walk. It's just happening without you even knowing. So then when you receive it, again, you might not even know you received it, but usually you'll know that it's time to, it's like you receive it and you spiral up from there. And so then it's usually you'll know that you've received it when you're like start feeling a little bit of that level 3 complacency, a little bit of that. And level 3 is going to pop up in two ways. It's going to pop up in avoidance of the fire and wanting to go to shore for comfort. And it's going to pop up when there's a new desire wanting to be unearthed for your next spiral of evolution and becoming. And so it's the complacency of comfort when you're in the middle of the victor's test is one thing. So that's backpedaling, turn the temperature down. But then as you move through this spiral, you hit a place where it almost feels like you've hit an ebb. Like it's maybe it's more like the level 3 boredom, well-oiled machine. There's got to be more. So it's just a different representation of the third level of consciousness. It's just really it. And you start to feel an itch, or you start to get new little visions popping up, or new little ideas, or new creative impulses. And those are just your heart saying, I got some new things for you to explore. I got some new desires for you to uncover and move in the direction of. And the second that we start this process all over again, we've also signed up for all the contrast again. And that's why it gets so hard when we hit that victor's test, because we remembered this ebb or this kind of like niggly over here. And it's, I just kind of want to go back over there because over there it was still like better. It was good, like life was still good than all this contrast over here, right? So that's why there's almost like a magnet between that one representation of third level of consciousness and this other representation of the third level of consciousness. And because it's remembering what was there, which still felt way better, even though I still knew there was more available to me, more potential, more growth, more expansion, more impact, more revenue, whatever it is. I knew that was still available to me, but it's still really good over here. It's still really good over here. And so then this person over here who's in the middle of the contrast and feeling really uncomfortable is, I just go back there. I think I just want to go back there, right? But back there is you're going to consistently feel those nigglies because you're always going to be called into your next evolution, into the next spiral of growth. And declaring desire is declaring evolution and growth. Thanks for being here. Thanks for sharing your energy, sharing your thoughts, ideas, insights, all of it. It opens up so much in me. I'm so grateful that you're here and you're so open and allow me to open my channel in service to all of you. Mwah. We'll see you soon. Goodbye.